Continuing to look at Metropolis, we're looking at the form, the use of German expressionism in the film. So our learning goal still is discuss the form and features of the film and how this affects the construction of meaning. So we're going to be looking at the scene in which Maria is being trapped. Okay, we're going to pick it up from where we left off before. We're going to see the prophecy being fulfilled as Maria instructs Freda that he is in fact the mediator between the two classes. So you need to remember that the film is expressing the inner turmoil of the collective city. Okay, so this is a collective experience. Going back to our rubric, the collective experience of the city is one marked by chaos and tension and intensity, as we have this clash between the high and the low, between Metropolis and the workers' city. And so here we see Freda representing the mediator between those two, and Maria bringing that prophecy. And we will see in a moment that she instructs Freda that he is in fact the one that the prophecy has been speaking of. And she tasks him with this fulfilling this tension and erasing the tension that she has just spoken of, so that the worker will no longer be exploited, but also the master will not be revolted against by the workers. Note the use of chiaroscuro behind Maria to represent the angelic Madonna motherly figure here. She represents the feminine, motherly, dutiful representation of women. We've got two opposing representations of women, and the working Maria is the mother Madonna. She is the love interest for Freda. She fulfills all that is good, pure about the feminine identity, all that is motherly, whereas we have the opposing Maria, the robotic Maria, represents the sexualized, highly sexualized female form, and how that leads to temptation, to chaos, and to rebellion. So we've got these two opposing construction of the female identity being expressed as well. You're the mediator. Finally, you have arrived. So again, as I said before, Maria is prophesying over Freda here, explaining that he is going to be, he's going to bring peace to the chaos and tension that the city is experiencing. And remember, all of this is a representation of the Weimar Republic and what they have experienced post World War I, the Depression and hyperinflation. So Freda accepting the role as the mediator. He already has a heart for the worker. He wants to be part of the reconciliation. Okay, the music suddenly changes because now we know of Joe Fredeson's plan and Rotwang's plan. Rotwang, make your machine man look like that girl. They are trying to weed out the rebellion and weed out the dissent that is within the workers' city. Rather than creating a mediator, though, I want to divide them. I want to destroy their belief in that woman. And so now we have the chase scene, the scene in which Maria is being taken by Rotwang. And this is a great moment to explore the expressionist movement and how it's used within the film. So in a moment we'll see how the film is seeking to convey that inner expression of Maria and her fear of Rotwang during the chase scene. The music is starting to be that foreboding, and it will only increase in tension as Rotwang chases Maria. Now the spotlight will be used in a moment to emphasize and heighten the tension in Maria's inner fear and hysteria as she is transformed from the Virgin Mother Maria into the damsel in distress. And Elaine tries to create that tension and almost use that gothic genre, horror genre chase scene in order to emphasize Rotwang's ill intentions towards Maria. And so we see the shadow being used there, an intimidating presence. And now you'll also see the way that they move from the catacombs, from the cathedral type setting with the crosses and the crucifix and the candles, which represent peace and unity and all of that religious iconography, to now we're in the catacombs where the skulls are resting. And so this is the place of bones, which only emphasizes these moments of terror and fear that Maria is feeling. So this is where we see those exaggerated movements by Maria as a character, which emphasizes her fear here in this moment. And the spotlight, the erratic movements of the spotlight also reflect that as well. So we've got the absurd, wild imagery here of the skulls and the human remains. And then that close-up of Rotwang's face behind the spotlight. He is her predator. She becomes vulnerable, and in a moment we'll see a high-angle shot of her running through the catacombs. We've got this menacing music, and it emphasizes the isolation that Maria is in here as well. These shots of her running through the catacombs with her, with the spotlight on her. And as I said, she becomes the damsel in distress here. Maria clutching at herself, and we see her face into a screen as she tries to escape, and we'll see that she's trapped here, and then the prelude ends. So you can see again that that Lang is using that expressionist form in order to highlight the subjective experience of his characters. We're mainly focusing on Maria and also mainly focusing on Freda throughout the film. Okay, thanks for joining me.